The Dan Yorke State of Mind program is brought to you in part by Lookout Rhode Island and Takeo Comfort Solutions.
Good evening and welcome to My State of Mind. I am Dan Yorke. We are checking in on the schools from time to time to see how they're doing, and I'll tell you, the picture is getting wider in terms of the disparity in success in getting it done. There are systems that just don't have the airflow ventilation that they need to meet the state standards and are constantly being barraged by the state government for not sending kids into school. Pawtucket's one of them. Warwick is still trying to figure it out. There are multi-million-dollar price tags that are assessed to these projects to make sure that airflow is good, not just in a warm fall, but a cold fall and freezing winter. In the meantime, the Chariho school system is all in right now. 75% of their students are in school, and they're feeling not great, but better about things. And so one of the superintendents who's been accessible and transparent during this process, and we so appreciate that, is Gina Picard, the superintendent of the Chariho Regional School District. And this superintendent is actually pretty excited this week because it feels like normal, sort of, not really. The superintendent, welcome to the broadcast. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Dan. I'm welcome to be here.
Yeah, so, we've talked in the past about your vast experience as an elected school committee member in North Providence and your educational experience in Providence, where you worked in the city system for a long time. So you've got a real good feel for all of this. And now you're out in the country as a superintendent, and you've got some, I guess it's called good news. It's progressive news, that's for sure. Your system is actually full in for everybody who wants to be in, correct?
Correct. We had 72% of our families want to return back. And we have about, at this point, I think we're about 2,267. We're almost at 2,300 students back in. But today was our full reopen of our high school. It was our largest population. So we did a partial reopen for them when we first started. Just because of the size and the number of protocols, it gave us an opportunity to have week one be a trial to make sure things were working, protocols. We did a couple of revisions, mostly traffic, distancing, spacing. And then today was our first full open. And it went well. We're in pre-K through 12, every student who wants to be.
And so are 3/4 of the population in based on what the survey said?
Yes. So right now we have 72% of our students in school every day. And we've got about a little less than about 900 students who are distance learning.
900 students are distance learning? How big is the system?
About 3,200 students.
Okay. Wow. Interesting. All right. So before we talk about how you manage those who are in and those who are out, talk to me about how you've, let's remind ourselves about the travel of the case, right? So we don't have to spend a lot of time on last spring, but last spring was a wind down just like everybody else's. To remind everybody what your experience was in the spring.
So in the spring, we all knew that the world changed March 13th. Everyone went home and did not return. And while we all thought we would be back within a few weeks, that did not happen. So teachers were very quickly, and Chariho was in a very good place because they had a one-to-one initiative in middle and high school for about 7 years. So they had a lot more training in that area. Our high school students were fully on a Canvas platform, and all of our middle school students had Chromebooks. Our high school students have MacBooks, and we really just had to roll it down to elementary. So this year we increased the technology. So our youngest learners, pre-K and K, have iPads, and then our grades 1 through grades 4 have Chromebooks as well. So dealing with the technology in the spring was everybody was virtual. Everybody was doing this and learning how to do this. And we had some additional PD days developed and brought in by the state, which were very helpful. And now with this shift, we are in a place where what we're calling concurrent learning, trying to manage distance learning and in-person learning at the exact same time, with staffing implications. I mean, when everyone's home, there's a flexibility. If you're not feeling well, if you have a sniffle, you're there anyway. But we're telling our staff and our students, you wake up with a headache, please don't come to school. If you wake up with a runny nose, please don't come to school. So it's really been the most challenging thing for Chariho has been staffing and transportation, not our facilities. Our facilities, while everyone was very concerned about air quality, we were in a very good place and able to handle a lot of that. But I always say I could be a facilities director, opening dampers, ensuring that we had the MERV filters, and when we didn't have the MERV 13, which we did not, we had HVAC system. The air handling, air exchange was 4 to 6 times. We added HEPA filters to any room without windows. So we were ready with facilities.
Yeah, well, that's interesting that you're in that place. Is Chariho, help me with this, is Chariho, just in terms of how many different buildings do you have in the system?
So we about 8. So we have 4 elementary schools, 1 in each town. And then we have 2 in Hope Valley, and then 1 in Charlestown, 1 in Richmond. And then on our main campus, we have the high school and our career tech building. We have our middle school, and then we have our Chariho Alternative Learning Academy.
Are they newer buildings?
The middle and high school and the Alternative Academy are all less than 10 years old, so it allowed us an advantage. The issue was more spacing in the classroom because they tend to be a larger size classrooms in elementary. So really making sure we had the number of distance. We had to empty out classrooms, move out bookcases, and things like that to ensure we could get the distancing.
The older buildings, though, you feel like you've been able to technically manage the airflow, because that is a problem that most of the systems are having right now, and the inner city systems, for lack of a better term, Pawtucket and others who just took a look at their buildings and said, you know what, we can't get to this state standard. You're not having that challenge.
No, and actually the Chariho district has done a nice job with their capital improvement planning, and we're actually just coming upon that now. We're getting ready for a new 5-year plan, and the school committee, under the necessity for school construction bonds, are thinking about some work in our elementary schools and determining if we're in stage 2 right now, determining if what options we have available because of the reimbursement rates that are happening. But right now, I would say with our elementary schools, what I had happen is we brought in an engineer company to review all our buildings to prepare for the winter months. We're trying to really think ahead to make sure that we're ready, because we'll have to close windows. We won't be able to do that. And it looks like we'll be in a good place. I have 1 elementary school, Hope Valley, that I probably will need a few more additional HEPA filters. So we're getting ready for that.
All right. Well, look, the news is different even across this tiny little state. Every system has got a different challenge. Did you have a number that you had to supply to RIDE through RIDE, and I think that's where it's through, right? RIDE, the governor's $50 million COVID relief plan for the schools. There was a distribution formula, and the practice that the administration is using is that they want school systems to take care of facilities and then bill back the state for the cost of that. Is that the procedure that you followed?
Yes, the applications in our Accelerate Grants program, we recognize our portion's about $348,000. We knew that was the dollar amount. So it goes quickly, as you can imagine. While many of us were working on PPE, that's actually not where we see the biggest need, as many of our children came prepared with their own masks. We do have to hand out every now and then, someone loses it, puts it down, can't find it, an elastic breaks, so we've given those out. But we are seeing more where we're trying to make sure that we're increasing. We finally got our electric static cleaners in, so it's making cleaning very much faster, more efficient, which is great. We weren't sure if we would ever see them. But I think our issue for us is staffing, because with the protocols in place, we're trying to be as flexible as possible. And it means that we're changing every day and we're doing things in our school system that we've never done. So it's new to teachers, it's new to parents, and they have lots of questions and concerns.
Yeah, I want to talk about the staffing in the next segment. So do you know what the total bill was for what we would call COVID technical equipment?
So it's probably going to be right now for us, we're looking at about $600,000 overall of an increase. The 348 is helpful, but it's not going to cover everything. But I have to tell you, they did provide some reimbursements that can happen. So we may have some decreases in certain areas and increases in others. So our budget, the biggest expenses, like I said, will be with staffing and having to be able to do that. Yeah. But then RIDE just provided us the opportunity to get reimbursed up to $100 with substitutes. So that's going to be a huge help for us and actually lower some of the costs that we were anticipating. Okay.
All right. So safe to say that, and again, it's good news, the Chariho seems to be able to at least get by and afford the health concern, the airflow concerns, while other districts have bills of 10 and 15 and $20 million just to try to get the classrooms ready. You guys have been in a much better place. Good. But still, the staffing issues are interesting and how you're performing. It's really important, I think, for the state to take a look at what you're doing, because you are able to now go full in school for those who want to, and I'm sure there's a lot of lessons that are going to be learned from your system, and we'll talk about that when we come back with the Superintendent of Schools at Chariho Regional School District, Gina Picard. Be right back. With Gina Picard, who's the Superintendent of the Chariho Regional School System. By the way, her first year, so nothing like taking a big bite out of the apple here. Amazing the kind of work. And, most of the superintendents and principals have phones glued to their ears, if not a headset, from parents. And yeah, I've just learned that it is just no, ma'am, yes, ma'am, first day of school, no, yes, no, holidays, this, blah, 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 blah. It's nonstop. You probably have a phone connected to your ear all day long. This staffing thing that you're talking about and the challenges that you have with that, what lessons have you learned, and what do you think you'll be almost modeling for the rest of the schools, because you are now full in school for 75% of your district? What is it that you think is unique about this moment?
So I think we are doing things that we would have never imagined having to do, which is, I think, the theme of this year, actually. So right before school started to open, we recognized that while we had almost no staff request time away or leave of absences, that last week, right before school opened, we had a handful of notes. And we do think it was the timing. They were waiting on the governor's decision. I think many were hoping that she would change her mind, and that while they felt they could do distance learning, they were more of a high risk and were concerned about coming back in person based on either living with someone who was high risk or being high risk themselves. So it definitely made us concerned. And upon reviewing the staffing plan, basically what I said to the administration and my union president is, throw out every idea. No idea is bad. Let's think it through. And one of the ideas we came up with was an opportunity, because these were high need teachers in math, science, and world languages, not easy to find. You can't just go find, and you can't put a day-to-day sub in to teach AP Spanish, as an example. Yeah. So we were like, what are we going to do? So one of the things we thought about is, and we spoke with our legal counsel, is providing supervision. Our support professionals are excellent, and it was a way for us to rethink how, they help out at recess, they help out at lunchrooms. Can they supervise in a classroom where the teacher is virtual and the students are in person, and then be next door to another certified teacher? And the answer was we could do that. Not our option A, Dan, but we were getting down that we've tried to get the subs, we tried to get day-to-day subs, and we couldn't. I also put in a request to the school committee around increasing day-to-day sub pay, because at the time we were paying $85 a day, which no one over the summer applied, which was really difficult for us to have no pool. So we were really working on empty. And at that point, we approved the policy last week to increase sub pay for our teachers day-to-day, $140. We saw 15 applicants within 2 days. So that's been helpful. But again, they're not certified. So when you have a teacher for math, for science, for AP, we wanted to be mindful that these were different times, and in order to stay open, we had to think differently. There's no way to know if it's going to work or not. Our teachers, they're doing yeoman's work. They are every day planning above and beyond. And my worry is the sustainability, and to ensure that they remember to take one bite of the elephant at a time, to not overwhelm, because this is all new. Their students are all new to them this year. Their families are new. RIDE did help out with reimbursements for substitutes. So while we thought we were going to be spending more, in actuality, if I can get up to $100 reimbursed for a sub, which is what RIDE has told us, really now I'm paying $40 as opposed to the $85 I paid last year. So it was actually, that's going to be very helpful for our budget, because we were anticipating it to be higher.
So tell me, have you had any infections? Have you had any positive cases? I mean, and how are you dealing with that?
So lots of symptoms. So, and I think everyone's really worried. Even myself, woke up and one day before school, and I'm like, oh, is it allergies? So I got myself tested. It was negative, luckily. But you definitely are thinking about your symptoms differently. We've had no cases that have impacted our students. We have had nothing that's happened while students are in school. We do have, again, we're trying to accommodate staff. We have staff that have called in with symptoms and have said, I'm sick, or someone in their house may have sick. We definitely had the situation where our parents have had tested positive and students have stayed home. And again, we've been lucky enough where those children have not impacted the students in school. So we're working right now, but it's going to happen. I mean, it's just a matter of time. And the Department of Health this weekend sent us letters as templates, but basically they're the leads in this. The communication comes from them. So even before we send a letter, or if we have to send a letter to a community or to a group of families, it has to be reviewed. They sent us the template, then we have to review it with them. The contact tracing. So if anybody in the district was a close contact or thought to be a close contact, they're directly called by the Department of Health.
All right. Well, so it's so far so good, but it's somebody said to me the other day that March felt like every day in March felt like a year. What's every day in September feel like?
Luckily, I'm a morning person. I am definitely here. Like I was here this morning at 6 a.m. It's a lot of late nights. And I think right now, my goal is to try to keep the communication lines open. Social media runs rampant. And I think people will hear something on Facebook, on Twitter, and believe that it's accurate or right, or there's some truth to it. And often there's a slant of some kind. So what we're asking our families is to ask your principals, ask us directly, so we can make sure that you're getting the information directly from us. I've been doing a weekly letter to our families every Friday. This year is going to be about communication, because you used to think about snow days, now you think about staffing. My worry is, will I get the call at 5 a.m. that says I have 15 teachers at one building that have headaches or sore throats, and that means they're not coming in. And the principals are thinking, can I give that teacher a virtual assignment? Do I have the staff left? Can we open? Or do we have to think about then going to a distance learning day?
Yeah, and so that leads me to my final question. We'll come right back with Gina Picard, the superintendent of Chariho schools, to forecast what she thinks the balance of the school year will look like. It's only just begun. We'll be right back. Final few thoughts from Gina Picard, Chariho school superintendent. So far so good. 3/4 of her students are in. There's a hybrid of virtual learning, and you've got that whole thing figured out. By the way, are students in classrooms with others who are on a monitor, or all the virtual kids together? Is that how that works?
It's both. You would see a variety depending on the classroom that you walked in and at the time of day.
So I mean, do you have a sense of bullishness or bearishness on how you're going to make it? Do you have this kind of, are you running a informal pool as to when it's going to be we quit day and go back to virtual, or do you think you're going to be able to muddle through?
Well, I think for me, I really want to make sure that I think about the teachers' social emotional well-being and the principals. I mean, as much as planning as we did all summer long, this is not your typical summer. Typically, people get to relax, refresh, rejuvenate, get themselves ready. There's PD opportunities all across the summer, but not with the kind of anxiety and stress that this brought. And I think that was definitely hard. And while many of us felt very much in it, not every teacher was a part of every piece of the reopening plan. So that what we saw is that first sort of PD week before school started was this level of stress of having to sort of balance this concurrent learning, and some teachers really thinking that, maybe I'll do this at the same time and it will be very synchronous. Other teachers trying to be a little bit more asynchronous. But I think what's happening is it's a lot. And my worry is it sustainable? Making sure that they're going above and beyond. If you walked into classrooms, it looks so easy. But what we know as educators is that level of work, when it looks that easy, means someone is very well planned and prepared. My hope is that the Department of Ed starts to think about how to really think about the teachers' mental health. And I would love a little bit more flexibility with planning days for teachers like we did in the spring. I think this is harder than what we did in the spring. While I know it was new and the pandemic was scary, what they're doing right now needs more time, more planning, and my principals are really trying to figure out how to find that time and balance that work. But it would be nice for the state to sort of pause and say, this is going really well, but we recognize our teachers are putting in hours and hours and hours of time, and they need some time to really stop, reflect, and then think and plan. The September PD day was taken away from us because of the shift of the first day of school. But I do think it would be nice for them to say, I'm not a believer in seat time, Dan. I don't believe that because you sat in a room for 55 minutes, you've learned anything. I think it really is about, the learning, what's the outcome, and how do I know if Gina was able to get it or not? So I think there needs to be flexibility even with the time of day. Like maybe once a week, students move to a distance learning day as opposed to a full in-person day. So teachers have PD planning. Maybe it's an independent study kind of thing. But I do think we need some options from RIDE to help us be more flexible so the teachers have some planning time built in. This is very difficult, and my fear is that they'll burn themselves out.
All right, well, there you go. There's the message, and hopefully notes will be taken at the state. Well, obviously, Chariho is going to be a model for the state one way or the other. Always appreciate your accessibility and continued good luck. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan. It was a pleasure.
Gina Picard, Chariho School Superintendent. Final word, and we come back. Stay with us. So it is a tale of not two cities, but many different cities and districts in this state. This will not be the same story at any time during the school year. We'll keep in touch with it. We'll talk to you on the radio at 3 until 6 on WPRO. Thanks for tuning in. Good night.